Hello and welcome again to another episode of Harmonic Path. And I'm your host Moran, interviewing Virginia Montañez today for another episode about emotions and spirituality and how they correlate together. So I knew Virginia about 4 years ago when I moved to Spain, and she gave me one of the first opportunities and pleasures to guide a workshop in her center. She's the founder of Centro Carissa in Almuñécar. Virginia is a quantum healer. She's a Reiki master, but also developed her own system of energy healing. She's working with energy and sexuality, and also holding water ceremonies for the environment here in south of Spain. Water is a very important topic. And of course, sweet water, clean, sweet water. So I'm very happy to share this conversation with you, Virginia. And
Hi.
today we are after a very strong storm. The water elements yesterday were helping everybody to remember that nature is still strong. The winds, the amount of rain and water, and the rivers rushing to the sea, carrying all the dirt and all the trees and cutting the electricity. So we are still just human, very fragile in this world. And I want to ask you, as we start this conversation, how do you see the relationship between emotions that are very human, that are very raw, that people are usually trying to manage or control, with sometimes even using mindfulness to control their emotions, versus spirituality, which is bigger, unlimited, and inspiring?
Well, I think they are very, very related because we are spiritual beings living an incarnated experience. And the experience of incarnation, it's linked to our emotions. We evolve as spiritual, our spiritual path, according to me, which is not the truth, is my truth. So you can be, you can agree or not, no? But according to me, as we evolve in our spiritual path, dealing with our emotions, not controlling, because when you control them, you get sick because we cannot control emotions. We just need to learn how to deal with them, and this is how we grow. So, so yes, of course, the spirituality and emotions are very, very related, and I think the problem many times in the spiritual path is that when we become very spiritual without grounding, we live as we didn't have emotions. We try to be like gurus or like very we our spiritual ego grows so much that we hide our emotions. But the emotions, if we don't express them, they are going to get blocked in our body and they are going to provoke symptoms, physical symptoms. So yes, if we want to have a spiritual path healthy and successful, we need to assume our emotions and learn to deal with them.
So I guess people can hear it. And from your experience running this Centro Carissa, which also had yoga classes and dance classes and voice expression and shamanic classes and Reiki and quantum healing, when people think about their body and spiritual, as far as you can see in the well-being uh, world business, they think, well, if I meditate and I clear my mind and I'm relaxed all the time and I do some exercise and I do some yoga and I'm very flexible, it's like it's enough. And it seems like it's enough because yes, you are spiritual, you do yoga, you do your meditation, you take care of your body. So they can do both of these things. And for them, it might seem like it's enough. But what is missing actually?
What is missing is the personal work, the personal development, the emotions, the dealing with the emotions. What gives you the meditation? The meditation gives you the calm enough to feel the emotions. But when you feel that emotions, you need to do something with them. It's not just feeling them, because it's not just feeling them and saying, okay, this goes. No, it's the when you learn to meditate, it's like, okay, think in your thoughts, in your feelings, and say, okay, not now, not now, no, like a cloud in the sky, not now. But no, they are there, and when you stop meditating, they are going to come back. So you need to deal with them. And with the yoga, or the more physical part of the work, no, the exercises, it's the same. You can make a lot of yoga, you can make a lot of exercise, but this is going to move the emotions that are blocking your body. And it's something, sometimes it happens. You have done a very strong yoga class, and then you don't know why start crying, because there is something that has been moved. But then you need to express that feeling that is there, because if not, it's there, and it's going to come back. It's going to come back. So the missing piece is the personal development, the consciousness, to take conscious, to be aware of what those emotions are trying to tell you. What is your body trying to express you, or is what is your meditations or your spiritual practice trying to tell you? Because they are all talking. They are all talking to you on what, and what they are doing is telling you, okay, now you have to deal with your sadness and find the root of your sadness. It's not that, okay, I'm sad and I don't know why, so I'm going to take some pills to get rid of this sadness. No, I'm sorry. And I can put you, I can tell you an example of, for example, there was a yoga teacher I met. She was very strict with the food she was taking, healthy, very healthy, no alcohol, very well, a very strong practice in the yoga, meditator, and she was very young, and she developed a cancer because she was denying all the time her emotions. And this I see in my practice as a counselor, as a therapist also, many times that you can really end developing a big symptom, a symptom which is very dangerous for you, because we have come here to the emotions are like, this is like a game, no, and we have screens, so we pass the screen the next level through managing our emotions. If I, for example, well, can I talk, can I
Yeah.
make you, for example, I'm going to talk about me, no? I have had always, all along my life, sadness that I didn't know where it came from. It was suddenly I could be surrounded of people and in a very mm, happy life, supposedly, and suddenly I felt so sad I didn't know. Well, I needed years. I needed years to discover where it came from, because it's not only one factor, it's many factors, because it's when you suppress the symptom, it comes in the next experience telling you you have to work with this. If you suppress the next one, it's like along my life has been the characters changed, the scenarios is the places changed, but there was always the same feeling coming, because I could, because we are also like onions. So maybe I was healing a layer of the onion, but then I was ready for the next screen of the game, for the next step. So with the time, it came another situation where, okay, this sadness came again to deal with it. And I'm sure it's not finished. I'm sure, now I'm very happy because my life is quite very okay. I'm in a very good moment of my life at the personal level, but I'm sure it will come back
Yeah.
because it's my
And
path.
another wave.
Yes, yes.
My my shamanic teacher, he explains the, life purpose and dynamics when he's reading palms. So according to this belief, there are some things that you can never heal. That are some things that are so deep in your personality that it's like your soul lesson of your life. And you can never 100% clean or heal it because this is your lesson. So you will always have more and more and more challenges and more little games to play around the same topic. Maybe it's abandonment, maybe it's around fear of success, maybe it's around a relationship or expression. But no matter how old you are and you think, wow, I've done so much therapy, because it's already in your nervous system, it's already in your body, your soul is configured in this way that the lines of your hands, they don't change, of course. So even and your fingerprints, they don't change. And this is why they say that some challenges will forever be your challenge. And this is what you came here to learn in this lifetime.
Yeah, I completely agree, because sometimes they come, even we need several lives to deal with this challenge, no? And we agree, okay, before incarnating, we say, okay, I want to learn in this game, or in this incarnation, in this however you call it, no? I want to learn this. So because it comes from my karma, or because whatever. So you come here, and is what you say, is your whole life is related to that, because it's what you have, is the main thing you have come to learn or to work, or I agree.
This is an interesting question, because I am very conflicted about it. From my Buddhist perspective, I have I would say almost 13 years of Buddhist training, formal and informal. And in Buddhist point of view, there is always a choice of freedom. There is always a choice. There is always a way out of suffering. And there is always a function that your suffering, you can use it. You don't have to, but you can use it to help other people. So you can keep your suffering to yourself and become enlightened and escape the world, right? This is the old style, old school Buddhist view. But then the newer style, the Mahayana school, is about you see your suffering, you learn from it, you digest it, so you can help other people to also escape their own suffering, or at least make it easier for them, so there is less suffering in the world. And it always gives you a choice to exit the game. You can say. They don't believe, like true Buddhists, they don't believe in soul. They don't believe in one changeless essence. They believe in karma. They believe in reincarnation. They believe that maybe you came here with some things that you have to complete from previous life. But they don't believe that this is your destiny forever to experience one thing, like my teacher said. And I used to be very much like this for many years, until life happens again and again, and you start seeing some patterns and things. Like you said, sometimes it takes years until you connect all the dots and you realize what the root cause of this emotion is. And then you realize, wait, maybe it was for a purpose. Maybe my soul chose this before, or I chose it for myself because this is what I need. And it's very hard to believe, and to think about, because some people have really traumatic life, and like abuse or torture, rape, cancer in young age. And it's very hard to believe that their soul chose it, this amount of suffering before they came to this life. It's always hard for me to think that I chose it.
Yeah.
At least you choose your family, you choose your parents. That's easy. Okay, you learn from them. But if it becomes too extreme, I feel like it's very hard to think that somebody will choose it for themselves, unless it's just an automatic accumulation of different karmas. Then it just happens because it's like mechanical correspondence of karma. I don't know what do you believe is around this.
Well, I think but this is my belief, which is I haven't had a Buddhist training, so what I think is what I have felt and download in my experience, in my practice, no. And what I think is that there is nothing, o sea, that there is nothing I don't believe in something like destiny. I think that yes, we like sign a contract, or we decide, okay, I want to learn this, and yes, I think we can decide very traumatic situations. And now, with children that are coming to incarnate with a lot of memories, they say, okay, for example, 2 days ago, I was with a friend, and she was telling me that her son was telling, when he was a kid, was telling her, I told you as my mother. So they come with this memory. So now we have more proofs that we somehow decide what we are going to live. But this doesn't mean that everything is written, because of course we have, and even we don't live only one life. There is this this theory, no, of the multiple worlds and the multiple time life. So we are every day, every moment, we are choosing which timeline we are going to connect with the quantum field. So okay, we have some experience, some lessons that maybe are hard, and this I think we choose. Maybe we don't choose the details. Okay, I want to be raped by 20 soldiers, but but somehow we need to pass this experience, because maybe in another life we were a raper,
Yeah.
or there is all this balance, no, because there is this law of polarity of compensation, no. You need
Yeah.
to balance one stream with another stream. So maybe you have had extreme emotions, experiences in one life, and you need to balance in this other, no.
So,
And
so let's bring it again back to the body, because now we talked about the spiritual.
yeah.
And let's say, from a spiritual perspective, me personally, I chose to work with anger.
Hmm.
And there's anger for me is like the opposite of love and trust.
Hmm.
Sometimes I used to believe that, I mean, fear and love to me are two opposites. If you love something and you trust it, then there's nothing to fear. And if you fear, means that you don't trust it, or you don't love it in a whole, the whole parts. You fear some parts, or you're angry at some parts. And to me, usually it comes out of anger. So let's say I am reincarnated.
Hmm.
I am a baby almost 40 years ago. I signed this contract. Please teach me about managing anger and finding love. And then I don't choose the details, right? And I don't remember it. Then when I'm 20, 30, and I'm more conscious and I'm doing more spiritual work or meditation work, there are so many ways to do it. And like you said, some people use it as passing clouds. I'm angry, so I will let the anger go. I'm angry, and I will let the anger go, and I will never look directly at the anger. And I had some meditation teachers that were telling me about, forget it. It's just another thing. Let it go, like any. Forget the good stuff. Forget the bad stuff. All the clouds are the same. Doesn't matter if it's a good thought or a bad thought or a memory, or even future memory that not didn't happen yet. It doesn't matter. Let the clouds go. And something in me was like, I don't believe. I don't think it's too important. Sometimes some clouds are very important, that you
Hmm.
have to look at them at least for a few
Yeah.
minutes before you let them go. And they gave me this example of, at least in an emotional perspective. But I want to ask you again that we connect back to the body as well. So they gave me this example of this doll, this doll that underneath there is a lot of water or sand. So you push it, you punch it, and it always comes back to the center. So they say, well, the emotion is here. The emotion is pushing you. Emotion is pushing you, whatever it is. But your center is always strong. So you let the emotion take you. You need to cry, you cry. You need to shout, you shout. You become 100% human. You love, you have sex, you're hungry. So the emotion is pushing you whatever direction it wants. But your center, your grounding is always strong. So you always come back to the center. It doesn't matter if it takes 2 minutes or 2 days or 2 weeks. Your inner core of who you actually are as a Buddhist practitioner, which is, you can say, empty of anything that holds on you, can always go back to the center. But it's very theoretical. Because sometimes it takes, like you said, sometimes it takes years to go back to center in a few ways. So how would you recommend to a person with some spiritual awareness to say, okay, I know that in this lifetime I'm dealing a lot with abandonment or with sadness. How do I bring it back to the body? How do I work with these emotions so I don't let go completely?
Okay, here we come with the energy. We are energy. And we have to think about emotions like frequencies. No? So anger has a frequency which is very low and very dense. So it's very physical, and is why we can become sick if we hold it very long. So is in this case, it's very important to make some physical work, but also to make some therapy because it's not okay. The emotion, as you say, the emotion is going to always, but in order to become to your center, first you have to learn how to balance your energy. And it's not only meditating, it's also changing that frequency, changing that anger into, it's like an spiral. No, you have anger, but if you cannot go, for example, from fear to love in one step, you need to go little by little. If you have fear and you can pass from fear to anger, it's good, because anger at least helps you to act. Fear blocks you, no? But if that is like a list of emotions that can help you to go up in the spiral, not just because if you think, okay, now I'm blocked by fear, or I'm really burning of anger, and I want to be in love, it's too long. But little by little you can do this, and there are many therapies, but it's the main thing. And you maybe now you need one therapy, and next year you need another therapy. That is not, I don't believe in magical recipes for everybody. In every moment everyone needs a certain therapy that is going to help you. Of course, if I wanted to make a lot of money, I would say, no, quantum is the best one, and you have, but no, sometimes it doesn't work because you need another one. There are many therapies, but the important thing is that you do body training, you do spiritual training, because it's also very important to connect with your spirituality, but you do personal development. You find, and we cannot do it alone. We can it because many people also come and say, no, I have read a self-help book and now I feel very good. No, sorry, sometimes everybody wants to be happy, good, the best one. We don't want to see our shadows. We don't want to see our miseries. So we have our own resistances. We need a counselor. We need a coach, somebody, therapist, somebody who helps us to see what we need to work with us. Okay, no, Virginia, you are not so spiritual. Sorry, you have your things here also. Who also guide us how to go from that anger to the next step, little by little, softly. I don't believe also in shock therapies. I don't think we need to for example, like regression, I have my doubts because I don't think we need to live again the traumatic situation in order to heal it. No, because it's energy. If we work with our energy, we don't need the memory to go back to that. We just can heal that energy
Yeah.
in
And
with.
sometimes it will come back in this lifetime, so you don't even need the memory, or you have a new one. It's interesting, like what you said about that every year maybe you need a different therapy, because sometimes it happens that during one therapy you already understand what is the next step. Let's say um, last year I had a Kundalini session, so it was like breathing and Kundalini, and I really felt like I'm blocked in the heart. Like the Kundalini goes up, 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 but then something is blocked here. So when I came back and I went to you and I told you, hey, my heart is blocked. I need you to work on this. So one therapy can always lead you to the next one, especially if you know your body and you know your limits. Then during breath, you can. Some people, when they do breath work, they have lots of visions, and some people don't. And then you think, wow, I also want to have visions. So now this is the next thing I need to work on to connect between the body and the spirit. Do you see any difference between men and women in the way that their energy is, they use their energy to work with emotions or specific topics that are more like related to men versus women?
Yeah, unfortunately, men have had a very difficult role in this patriarchy, which is related to the difficulty to express the emotions, no? The traditional role of men, I don't want to generalize because it is different in different countries. Yeah, I was telling, the problem I see with men is that, and I also see it in the practice, no? When with the men that come to my practice, is that in general, which also of course there are exceptions, and the more personal development work you do, the easiest you express your emotions and you can work with your emotions, no? But in general, the role of men is very related to this thing about men don't cry, men have to support women, men have to be the strong. So it's more difficult to identify the emotions that you have and to express them. And so it's little bit more, and also it's related with a higher level of suffering because there are not safe places where you can express your emotions, what happens without feeling judged by the other men saying, hey, you are too weak, or yeah, how do you, these kind of things. No, I'm not a man, but I have talked with many men who feel like this. And on the contrary, women, we have many places we need to talk, and we talk with among ourselves. We can a coffee with friends can become a therapy session. No, it's easier. It's easier to express the emotions. This doesn't mean that we don't have problems to work with them, because one thing is to express the emotions, another thing is to know how to deal with them. No, but these are the main differences I see. No, that we always, in theory, the analysis is that the patriarchy has made women victims and men perpetrators. No, this is the traditional analysis of traditional one trend of the feminist has given. But my opinion is that we are all victims of patriarchy in this way, and we are all because we are all building this patriarchy. So women, we are many of the times we are the ones that educate kids. So if there are men who are machist and have difficulties to express their emotions, it was because there was a woman since he was a kid saying, hey, you don't have to cry, hey, you have to be strong, hey, you have to be a macho or whatever. So this is the difference, no? That it's changing little by little, but I think we need more men's groups. I think the women, we have done that work. We are doing that work. No, there are many women circles, women activities. Women are doing a great work in self-supporting, but I think men should do also. And well, I'm not judging. It's what I see. No, that it would be great that men can find also these safe places where to talk among themselves and to express their vulnerability, because it's great to be vulnerable. It gives you more strength when you can show your vulnerability. But if you don't have a safe place where you can show it, you are going to hide, and then all these problems
Yeah.
are going to arise.
I always think about women as women can hold a lot of pain because of the monthly cycle and giving birth. Automatically, their body is programmed to hold more pain. So it's there are two different energies. Women can take the pain inwards and hold it, and then sometimes they forget to let go, and they can hold so much pain that they don't know what to do with it because the energy goes inside, and they think that they are strong by holding it, but actually they're damaging themselves. And men, the energy goes out, so the pain goes into violence or actions or motivations or changes and fixing and doing something with the pain. So they are acting, they're actually doing something with it, but because they don't internalize the pain, they don't know why, they don't know how, there is like a lot of action without any thinking before. It's not deep. It's just action for action, but inside it's not connecting to anything that they can recognize and understand. Why am I doing it? How come this is so powerful? Or even if I'm aiming to the right direction, because they don't go in before they act, they just go out. So like, I don't, in all this polarity about genders, there's always talks about how men can be more soft and how women can be more strong. And then I don't believe that women should be and men shouldn't be balanced, because then we lose polarity. But if women could let go of their pain more, then maybe also less cancer, less diseases, and less some resentment, or when how you explode every few months because you
Yes.
hold so much. And men could be a little bit less action oriented and more like introverted. And like you said, even a coffee can be a therapy session. This is very limited, because I see it also in our community. Every time we try to make a men's circle, we lasted one or two. The third one, most like 75% of the people didn't show up again. So we never could continue. And every year we try again with different people, same thing. And then I ask them, why don't you come again? It was good, right? And you say, yes, it was really good. You express these things, you learn some things. Yes, yes, yes. But why not come again? Oh, because, I can talk with one guy, one friend, and it's enough. So it's like these men are more evolved, more advanced, and more aware. They said that they can make these coffee conversations, or going to the bar and having a beer conversation and make it into a therapy. But it doesn't grow into a group, because the group, like you said, it's, I guess, still intimidating. It's too much judgment or criticism, that what will they say about me? And if we all know each other from a small village, they can
Yeah.
gossip, and they can see me in the street, and they can already know that I am weak, or that I have problems with my wife, or that I have problems with my kids, or that I don't make enough money. And the social status is so strong
Yeah.
that they are not using this network of people to help themselves. So like you said, there's always like levels of how much you can jump from one one
Yes.
level to another, and they try to do it, but then they go down one more. But at least they told me that they do have one-on-one conversations with a good friend, but it's always around some going to the bar,
Yeah.
watching a game, doing something. It's never about just talking.
Yeah.
It has to be something in the background so it doesn't feel too intimate, because intimacy feels scary,
Yeah.
or gay,
Yeah.
or too romantic to be open with somebody so they actually listen to you. And maybe I don't know why, but evolution wise, men are not wired to be so much of listening and concentration, communication. It's more about action, building, hunting.
Mm.
And women
Mm.
are easy and more natural with just listening, because the social structure in Neolithic prehistoric time was like this, that men go to hunt together, so we can communicate really well together about actions. And you go there, the lion is coming, you hide. So we know how to communicate in a group for projects. But women could talk more as like social community,
Mm. Mm.
emotions. Oh, this kid, it looks sick. What about this? Did you share the food? She doesn't feel, she's looking at me weird, man. It's like a different way of communication.
Yeah.
um
Well, I think the common point, I want to say also, a ver, to show vulnerability doesn't make that a man becomes female. I know many men who can show their vulnerability and they are still very masculine. Not many, but a few ones that they can be. So it's not that you are going to become feminine showing your emotions, but yeah, this I can see that this is a fear, no. Um, but what I wanted to say is that there is a common point, which is if we could, and this happens in both in men and women. If we could go from the regret, the okay, he has done me this, you have done me, to the okay, what for is this experience coming to me? I don't know if you say this like this in English. ¿Para qué? No, it's not so much why, but what is the purpose of this experience? What do I have to learn? So you stop blaming the other gender or the others, and to start the growing process. And and the other, yeah, this is what I wanted to say about this, no, that, and about the difficulties of men to participate in groups. I had also this experience. I work a lot with young people, with young men, because my son is 22, and my house is always full of young, and sometimes they come here, they come to my house. Hey, I need to talk with you, I have some problem. But they want to come and they don't want that the others know. Or they tell my son, hey, I want to talk with your mother, and then they come, but nobody can know. Please, and if I invite them to say to participate in a more group with other men, to organize something with or other young men, no, no, I don't want anybody to know what is happening to me. And maybe it's sometimes they're all this, they have all the same problem. So I listen in the individual, and they have all the same problem, which are the universal problems: love, money, the problems that the lessons, the yeah the waves that the life brings, no, to us. But yeah, it's there is this thing of I need to show that I everything is great. And I think the social networks have also done a lot of damage with this, because also with all the the applications, no, where we have to show how good is our life, how good we are doing, how good we are performing, the more difficult is to show that, well, that in this moment maybe my life is not so good. Maybe in this moment I have a lot of anxiety, I'm having a lot of problems or whatever, but it's very difficult for them to find a place. Yeah, and this is the main challenge for parents, because we are talking about men and women, but the young men and the kids mm, have a very difficult moment. I see, at least in Spain, I don't know in other countries, but here the price of the houses, it's really rise. The young men cannot go out of the houses of their parents, because even if they are working, they don't have enough money to live alone. So it's, they are like stuck in so they cannot finish growing, because they cannot give the next step, and this creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of this, all this anger, fear, all these emotions, and they cannot express them because
Yes.
it's not allowed. So they end having drugs, having problems with drugs, or with violent um, situations, no, ending with toxic relations, or with engaging with violent situations. Fortunately, now there is this fashion of going to the gym, which is great, because at least they discharge all this
Yes.
energy.
And it's
But
very grounding just to be in the body. Yeah. So how would you summarize, like, for the last few minutes of our conversation, if you could have like a perfect plan? I mean, not a formula, you said, like nothing very strict, but if you could have a perfect recipe of how to combine spirituality with personal work and emotions, and also some exercise or body work, what would be your ideal recipe for? And you can also have like one recipe for men and one recipe for women, because I mean, we all know this. Okay, you have the yin yang and you have the kundalini, it's always two snakes, and in the Kabbalah you have the two sides, and and also in our energetic bodies we have the feminine side and the masculine side, and we have the negative emotions and positive emotions. How would be your ideal way of combining it and working with it so you can reach your next level?
okay, well, for me, there is, you have talked about three, but I would add the energy level. So the physical
Yes.
level, the spiritual level, the emotional level, and the energy level. For the physical level, I would not say so much for men and women, but for people who have a lot of male energy and people who have a lot of female energy. Usually it's more or less men and women, but not always. There are men who have a lot of female energy and the opposite, no? So for the body, when you have a lot of female energy, or you are more yin, yoga would be a good practice. But if you are more yang, maybe you need like more something stronger. So maybe the gym, or something CrossFit, something really that helps you to. But because you are going to combine on the mental level with meditation. Also, for people who have a lot of mental energy, or who are more young, or who have a lot of problems and have difficulties to stop, maybe not so much meditation sitting, but more there are many meditations in movement, or voice, with the voice, something that helps you to move and to release also some energy, but it's a meditation, like, or mindfulness if you are not so spiritual and you want to connect with something more ground. But well, you need to connect with the spiritual
Eventually.
level. Yes. But meditate. It doesn't matter why, because there are many ways, but something more active or something more passive, but meditating. Then, at the emotional level, therapy. It doesn't matter if it's with psychologists. There are many wonderful therapies, like repatterning transformation, or there are, well, the quantum, for example, works with emotions, and because if you don't want to talk, because sometimes our traumas are so deep that we cannot even talk about them. For example, in this case, I recommend the quantum, because with the quantum you can work with emotions without talking about them, without thinking about them. It can eventually you will end talking about that, but at the beginning it's like helps to clean them, and to help you to be conscious about them, to be aware at the end about them. Reiki also, it's a very good discipline for that, because and this helps at the energy level, because we need to have our everything starts in the energy level, everything. So if we have our energy field in coherence and in balance, the rest will be easier. And for that, the meditation helps, but also techniques like Reiki, like the quantum, like energy. I call it Reiki, but any energetic quantic healing, also any energetic, even massages, shiatsu, but something that really helps you to have your, because, and it has happened to me many times, doing a Reiki to myself, no, an auto Reiki session. It comes an image. It comes, and what you have said before also, no, it comes. Okay, and I can feel that emotion, and I know now that this is the next step. Okay, now I have to deal with this. So it's very important to work with the energy, and for that, these are my favorite is Reiki and quantum bath. But when I talk about Reiki, I don't talk about the traditional Reiki. Any kind of energetic healing is going to be okay. And at the spiritual level, well, we are spiritual beings in an incarnated body. If we don't, until we don't work in our spiritual path, we are not going to evolve, because we need to be aware and to take consciousness about what we are here for. And this also the same. I'm sorry, but I don't believe in religions. I think that religions are structures of domination and don't help us to grow spiritually. They are created to control societies. Sorry, this is my opinion, and with all my respect for all the people that it's involved in a religion. But I think when I talk about the spirituality, I talk more about our connection with our divinity. And this can be through many ways. Just meditating and trying to connect with, but shamanism for me is the main tool to connect with our pure spirituality. Shamanism is magic for that, and it's like this is what I would recommend for everybody. When I talk about shamanism, can be with sacred plants. The shamanism that I practice is without sacred plants, usually most of the times. Is my general practice of shamanism is with sound, with other tools. Because in Spain, I don't know in other countries, but in Spain, when you talk about shamanism, everybody thinks ayahuasca, which is great and it's a path. I don't have
But
anything
like you
against
said,
that.
it's very extreme. It's very shock. Ayahuasca can also be very shocking, and there are different types of shamanism with sound that can give you a change consciousness and open to intuition and images and visual that doesn't have to do with anything that you eat or drink.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, there was a great conversation. I
Yes.
hope I hope that you're watching this or listening to this had some insight about your life and your situation. And in the links below, you will have links to contact Virginia directly or with us in Harmonic Path. And we also involved the people that we talk to in this podcast are also involved in this process. So along your journey with us, you can also work with the people that we interview here If you want to work with us or if you want to work with them directly, you will find the links below. And we see you in the next episode.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
and have a great life.